Okay.
When you're ready.
Uh-huh.
All right, we're ready.
One, I get newsletters in my email from, UMS, from CIM. I'm a fan of Wikipedia. I like reading a lot of content on Wikipedia. I have a lot of feeds in my Google search application for Google. I keep getting a lot of news, especially on trends in AI. We need to be very well conversant with what AI is going to do for us. So I stay afloat. I follow technology because I know technology affects how competitive organizations are. I am always on YouTube. I listen to podcasts. I see what industry experts are saying. But also, I'm a member of Uganda Marketers Association, and we have a WhatsApp group where there's a lot of wonderful content shared by a group of like-minded and passionate people who send us a lot of information. They could be videos, they could be PDF files and all. But yeah, being in marketing, you have to stay on top, otherwise you get left behind. Wow, which one can I think of? Okay, I don't want to sound biased, but the one marketing jargon I hate, it's not really tied to marketing, it's the word steady progress. I mean, what exactly is steady progress? I mean, most times we mention it, but then when will the outcome be, Many times you hear people even, at press conferences saying, we are looking into that statement, we are looking into that. Oh, we have heard your thoughts and we have made some changes, but to the viewer there is no change. So most times we have to be very specific and intentional. If we say that we want to achieve something, for example, if I say we are going to improve our customer service within 6 months, then let it be 6 months. But when 6 months reach and you still say steady progress, I mean, that's a term of saying we don't know what we're doing, but we are going with what the webs say. Yeah. The future of marketing is going to emphasize one thing: speed to market. How fast do you deliver value to a customer? And first of all, simplicity for them. How simple can they get things done? How simple are their requirements fulfilled? But also managing complexity in the back end. So most times value chains are very complex, and value chains involve all the elements that people use to deliver value. For example, the supply chain, the operations, the HR, the logistics, the distribution, and all. But they are very complex. But to the customer, this should not be complex. It should be simple. So how do you manage that complexity? And one of the things we are doing in marketing is technology, automation. We're going with automation, the use of apps, the use of the website, the use of email, the use of updates. But one thing that we are starting to see coming at the forefront is AI. So AI is going to be used to analyze a lot of information, because each of these elements generates information. So AI is going to help analyze this information and provide solutions in real time for customers. The risk is, what will it have on the jobs? Because there's that question for marketers, copywriters. We've started to see even copywriters getting phased out in place of AI. But also from the customer side, we are seeing what we call general segments dying out. There's no such thing as youth segment anymore. There's no such thing as corporate segment anymore. There's no such thing as SME segment anymore. They are now getting fragmented further and further and further as we see. So among the youth, you're going to find different categories. They are going to be the daredevils, the rebels. They are going to be, the entrepreneurs, all kinds of things. And we live in an age where they are towards diversity and inclusion. So in the past, they used to segment according to gender. That is now having very interesting elements. Segmenting according to demographics. But we know borders are no longer, you can't say Uganda, Kenya, Uganda, or whatever, or Europe, because there's cross-border business happening there. We are also seeing advertising transitioning from simply this product at this price. We are going into what we call brand storytelling. And in brand storytelling, one element that is important is transparency. So what are we seeing brands doing nowadays? We are seeing brands taking us behind the scenes of what they do. Gone are the days when you'd see a nice menu with food. Nowadays, you see the chef prepare the food on YouTube, online. You see the ingredients being used. You see the tools being used. You see the practices being used. If you're into movies, you'll always see the behind the scenes. How was the movie made? What were the challenges being faced? How did they solve problems? This transparency gives customers confidence that these people put effort into what they did to deliver value for us. So we are seeing an element of transparency. We're also seeing the new evolution of what we call the PR CEO. The CEO who talks on behalf of the organization. We have the likes of Elon Musk. We have the likes of Zuckerberg. We have the likes of Nadella Sacha from AI talking about what. So the PR manager is dying out. Now we have the MD doing the talking for the brand. And this also affects their shareholding. So we're seeing quite a number of changes. But most importantly, things are changing. Disruption, innovation, technology, and all that.
Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Dan and Josh. And on this edition, this one is special because we're speaking to you, business owner, you CEO, you managing director. All right? Now, picture with me. Let's go on a journey together because we all know where the economy has been and where it's going. Contrary to our belief, we are feeling something entirely different. Okay? And it's hot.
There is an equal
okay, you have to do physics. But yes, we're all feeling the pressures of the economy. It's hot, okay? And for any CEO, MD, whoever, if you own a business, you run a business, we have to make revenues, the cash flows need to be consistent.
Pay taxes.
You have to pay the taxes right. And all these things can only come together if you have the right strategy. So on this episode, we are joined by, we're going to call him strategy connoisseur, strategy maestro. Yeah? Oh, all the spice and all the things that are nice. On this episode, we are joined by Simon. He'll give a full introduction, but just for your understanding, Simon you're a telecom engineer who then became professional marketer. You are an ACIM. You are passionate about radio and production. You're passionate about telecom. You've been in the telecom space for longer than some of us have worked.
Well, close to 15 years. Yeah.
So we have a powerhouse with us on the set. Yeah. So Simon, introduce yourself.
Well, you can call me a friend for start. You know, when you break it down, simplicity. Some people call me, in quotes, professor. Sometimes having too much information is good or not, but yeah they call me professor. One thing for sure is I am passionate about strategy for one reason, that it's that entity, it's that element that when combined with all the elements enables an organization or an individual or a group of people with a shared interest to achieve an objective. But now the classical definition of strategy is an objective within a certain set of conditions. But there is a shift in the way business is being carried out because now achieving those same objectives with a high degree of uncertainty and complexity as well. Yeah. So that is me in a nutshell. I do part-time consultancy. I'm passionate about things to do with business and marketing. Okay. And I'm glad to be here, and I think we can get the ball rolling into the nitty-gritties of it.
This one, you have to put your thinking hats on. This one here, you have to be ready. So for those of you that are seeing this video for the very first time, or this channel for the very first time, subscribe. Straight to the point, just subscribe. And for those of us that are part of the community, you know what to do. Share with a friend.
And a friend. And for those who don't know, welcome. You're so calm. Have a seat. Have a screen.
Exactly. Put your thinking hats on and let's jump straight into this. So Simon.
Yes.
The first thing we want to know, you've told us about strategy. So what is strategy not?
Okay.
What is strategy not?
Okay, well, I'm going to shoot from the hip on this one. Operational excellence is not strategy.
All right.
What do we mean by operational excellence? On a day-to-day, when you find people and what they do on a day-to-day basis, or people in the mix doing, meeting customers and all, they tell you what they are good at on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm improving my branding. I am improving my product portfolio. I'm streamlining my processes. And they think that is strategy.
Yeah.
And year in, year out, they're doing the same thing. Getting better at it. But the question is, you may be good at something which you call operational excellence, but the truth is, are you still in the right direction of what you're trying to accomplish? Let me give you an example. The first car was invented, I think, in the early 1920s, 20s. Prior to that, they were using horses. So if you ask someone who was into transport, what are you going to do to make your transport better? He would have said, I need more horses. I need stronger horses. I need more reliable horses. He's being excellent. He was being excellent at that, but the industry was shifting to automobile. So when you are stuck in doing something so well without considering what's happening around you, operational excellence ceases to become strategy. It is just an element to something that is changing. Because one thing you have to put into consideration, especially with strategy, are the elements of change. And many organizations have been caught off guard.
Yeah, because they're not preparing for the change.
A very good example during COVID. There were people walk into a very nice shop, well branded, called in the plazas, very nice branding, excellent lighting.
Usher there to welcome
There's
you
always
in.
even a nice looking lady there to usher you around.
Those ones. Problems.
During COVID, that ceased to.
That is to work.
People had to realign to using remote and digital. So operational excellence is not strategy. Another thing is a very good example, advertising.
You are preaching to the converted.
We have sung this song.
Hallelujah.
We are still singing this song. Please, break it down.
Yes. So coming to advertising is not a strategy, that is just a tactic. Because it keeps changing. There are elements of change in advertising. It's just a tactic. And in the long term, advertising we have not seen is starting to change. Nowadays, there is what they call the brand storytelling, for effective strategy. And we're going to go deep into that word, effective strategy. Then also, having a plan but not executed is not a strategy.
Oh, we keep saying that one.
Having a plan is not a strategy if it is not executed and the objective is met.
Yeah.
So many times you're going to meet organizations, visit the website, and the plan on paper is beautiful.
Beautiful.
The vision, the mission, the core
Even
values.
consultants from outside the
Exactly.
countries.
Yes. But once the consultant delivers the plan to the board, end of story. Because the board already has their own strategy that they are formulated. And that is when they are not changing. So nice looking plan on paper, not executed, not evaluated and monitored. So having that on paper is not a strategy. That's just a nice essay, or we would call it.
Nice document.
Yes, a nice document. Then another one which is very important, and this is where many MDs, as you mentioned, CEOs, it is not a strategy if it has not been cascaded to each and every individual that is contributing to the growth of that organization in the long term.
I believe that's going to be like our intro for a very long time for this video, because I think that's a very powerful thing. It's a very powerful thing where so many strategies just stay
At
The top. At the top.
Yes.
Yes. It stays at the top. And when you come to audit or even just have an engagement with even the people on ground, do they even know the vision, the mission? Do they know what the plan is? Do they understand it? Has it been clearly communicated? But also, most importantly, have the roles to achieve that strategy in the long term been clearly aligned? Then also, a department doing its strategy very well, in the grand scheme of things, when you evaluate an entire organization, for example, HR did a fine job in recruiting the best talent. Fine job in doing engagement and motivation for the year.
Yes.
But the financials are down. The regulatory scores are not looking good. You have legal cases. The marketing strategy hasn't been executed well. So a small element of what you call a strategy, but in the grand scheme, if it has not fully aligned the organization, that's not a strategy. because it was a siloed
activity.
It was a siloed activity.
You did cut across.
Yes, so let's pick out elements. And the best way to know if a company has fully effected a strategy well is when you interview people, even on social media and everything, they'll tell you the adverts are nice, but the customer care is not.
It's not good.
There's a problem there.
Yeah.
Or the products are good, but the turnaround time
It's terrible.
or the price is excellent, but they are always stock out. Because when you talk finance, there's an element of supply chain that comes into play that is very important. So you have to look at strategy from a holistic point of view. So what is strategy? We began with what is not strategy. Now what is strategy?
Yes.
Strategy is a set and a series of actions, decisions committed to achieve long-term sustainable
It has to be sustainable. Yes.
Sustainable profitability or achievement of objective of an organization in a highly complex environment with a high degree of uncertainty while meeting the needs and wants of the customer at the forefront and the needs and wants of the shareholders and owners,
Yes.
and the needs and wants of the employees and people who have a vested interest in accomplishing
That goal. Ooh. Ish.
In the Bible.
Everything here is heavy.
Before we had the book of Joshua.
There was a book of Joshua. It's the book of Simon. In the book of Simon.
Dan, you need to write it.
You wait. The book is coming.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's good to know that that's what strategy is not. And you also told us what a strategy is. What makes a strategy good then?
Okay. Now, what makes a strategy good? There are several layers of strategy. But before we go into them, one is there is what we call strategic thinking. And this starts from up, down, and down, up. You have to have a strategic thought process. Then that thinking is going to be broken into 3 sections. When you're from thinking, you go to strategic planning.
Yeah.
The thinking and the planning. And then under the planning, there are 3 layers. You formulate the strategy.
Okay.
Then you execute the strategy. And then you evaluate and monitor the strategy.
Yes.
So most times people implement strategies. But then you ask them, what's your thinking? Why?
Why that?
Why? The most powerful question in strategy and even in business is, why are you doing this? Okay? Why is Benz doing what they do compared to what Hyundai or Toyota is doing? That's why.
Yes.
Okay? And it comes down to the thinking. This thinking could have started with the founder. Usually, if it's a small business where the leader has a lot of influence, it could be the thinking of the founder or the key people in that role. Then, in a large organization, is that thinking cascaded? Is that thinking among the board? And you know what we call collective thinking? The culture.
Yes.
The collective thinking or the DNA, because it all starts with the thinking and thought process. So strategic thinking is that thought process that guides you to plan how you're going to achieve in the long term.
As an organization.
It can even be a person. By the strategy, it's even something for someone.
In an individual. Yes.
Yes. What we usually call management of self, effective day-to-day elements.
Yes.
So now with the thinking, it will guide you to do the formulation. And under the formulation, that is where you first of all say, where are we right now? Have we accomplished the previous financial year's performance? Did we make profit? Are we the market leader? Did we meet shareholder value because they put money
into it, yes.
Our employees,
yes, are they in a good position?
Happy. Okay? Now, where is the industry? Even as we speak. You know? Sometimes,
After plan for ourselves, now where is...
Exactly. Where is the industry? By the way, has the industry shifted away from what we are doing?
Okay.
Or are we the ones who are leading? Because there are powerful strategies that don't even make an organization achieve the objective, but there are powerful strategies where what the organization does becomes the industry. Like
they steer.
they steer.
Yes.
They steer, because the real powerful strategy is you're the one effecting change.
Yes.
Most times when you're reacting, you're not having strategy. You just follow.
You're just
Someone
following,
is
yes.
already influencing you. So has the industry shifted currently from where you are? Let me give
Yeah.
an example. Anyone who was dealing in cash business prior to COVID and has maintained cash business, I don't know how lucky they are. Everyone went cashless.
Yes.
While we were in our homes under lockdown, if someone didn't have a merchant code or a mobile number to register, how are they going to get paid? So you have to have that understanding. Brick and mortar. Are people still even visiting brick and mortar shop if that was the industry? Or have they gone digital
Yes.
as well? You know, so we see certain industries dying, others coming up. So has the industry shifted? Then the second thing is, how is our financial health in terms of our ability to finance what is coming? Have we earned cash flows? Do we have sources of income that are going to help us put cash in, cash out, get cash back? Now, under the formulation also, do we have the resources right now? Are the people well versed with us? What are the competitors doing? And also, where are the substitutes?
Yeah.
You know, remember the days, for example, if you wanted the software, you'd go to the plazas and they ban a CD for you. But now you're like, hold on,
The good old days.
a lot of money. Those PC desktops they had were always banning CDs, you know. But the industry has shifted now. I just can go online and get the software there and then.
Yes.
So that kind of shift. Now, after formulation comes the planning. That, okay, now we have seen insights from the market. We have seen what is driving our growth as an organization. We are also seeing what is driving degrowth.
Yes.
What segments have shrunk? What industries have shrunk? Where are the opportunities? Where are we seeing an
An
element,
opportunity for us to grow.
an
Yes.
opportunity for us to grow? But also, one important thing: what is our objective? If someone asks you, why are you doing this? You say, because this is my objective.
This is what I want to do. This is what I want.
This is what I'm striving. So if I
Yes.
ask Daniel, why are you servicing your car? Why are you investing in a high performance car? Because I want to travel. My objective is to travel to maybe 5 destinations this year, and I need a car that will help me. Simple. It has to be explained very simple what you're trying to achieve. Now, when you have your objectives, now these objectives are broken down, because remember we mentioned there is financial, there is HR, there is legal, there is operations, there is supply chain, there is manufacture, there is distribution,
Yes.
there is sales, there is marketing. Then there is the leadership, the corporate top level, and also the nature of organizations. There are organizations that have the HQ.
Yes.
The HQ also has its own
structure.
strategy. Then if
Yes.
you're an SME, maybe your objective is to even start and build scale. Then once you have your objectives aligned, you're like, okay, what are the resources we need? What are the resources we are going to need to drive this growth? And also, where are we going to invest to drive growth? But also, by the part of strategy, many times people think strategy is about, I'm going to change everything. No, there are elements of what have I done well, and I'm going to sustain.
Maintain. Yes.
To maintain. Then there are what they call trade-offs. What am I going to stop doing? Many times you see people say, I'm going to do this. Leaders are, we're going to do this, but what are we going to stop doing? Because remember, each action, each decision is a cost.
Yes.
Everything you do has a cost
There's
element
a cost to it. Yes.
So for example, if your journey is to go digital, we are going to start doing digital, we're going to email marketing, we're going to go at, automatically you're going to say we're going to stop printing flyers. The budget for flyers is going
It's
to
going to go away.
buying bulk paper, everything is going in. Already you're seeing
Yes.
that. Because you have to do a saving. Remember, in finance management now, there is element of governance. Just having money is not enough for you yes.
Enough for you
There
to
is money
survive,
to
yes.
invest, not money to waste. Yes. So then, what are we going to do for each of these departments? What segments, what products are we going to? How are we going to communicate? What distribution are we going to do? But also, how are we going to cascade
All
this
these things
strategy
down to
the core, the internal organization, and also your partners?
yes.
Also your strategic partners. Let me give an example. Assuming you've been in the business of making shoes. And there is a particular kind of leather for shoes, different from handbags and whatever. But you have a long-term contract with the supplier to give you leather for shoes. But you realize in our strategy we're scaling down on shoes, we're going to scale up on handbags. And handbags have a different kind of leather. You now need to involve your supplier. Because one, you also need to understand how long does it take him
For him to now to source and switch to that leather that you need.
Also, is he a specialist supplier only for shoes?
Or for leather that does everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot to mention also in strategy is anticipating. When you have degrees of uncertainty, anticipate. So you foresee, you're more like a prophet.
Yes.
That's why they say, what's your vision? And prophets have visions. What do you see ahead? So if you're planning, like to get handbags, but your supplier doesn't even do that, have you even bothered to check? Can he change his supply chain? Can he change his turnaround time?
Can he buy or absorb another?
Or do you have to get another supplier?
Another supplier, yes.
And you all know in the rules of supply chain, the criteria it takes to bring on board a new supplier.
Yes.
As well. Not only that, is the supplier local or is he?
Foreign. And if it's foreign, the taxes that apply.
Exactly.
Things like that.
But also on top of that, does even the regulation for your country allow you to even bring in that kind of
leather? Or to import from that kind of, that country in particular.
So,
yes.
so if you're a product manager and you think you have to do handbags, you have to see all this.
Before you pivot.
Before you pivot. Thank you very much.
I feel like clearly there is a correlation
Yes.
between strategy and actual revenue. But as we are looking at the correlation, then how do we actually measure the impact of the bottom line?
Okay. So revenue growth has three elements. Revenue is just an outcome of the spending by the customer times the number of customers. Now, customers are in three categories. Growth from new customers, growth from existing customers, and growth from customers who left and you're trying to bring them back. So you're basically getting from those three sources. So when you have an effective strategy which considers retention, you are definitely going to see an increase in the revenue from the retained customers.
Yes.
Then you are going to see revenue from new customers. If your sales and acquisition strategy, your distribution, you've opened new shops, you've done your advertising correctly, you upsell to them, the product has stickiness, it's new, it's irrelevant, it's catchy, there'll be revenue. The hardest is from guys who have left and have to come back. So you have to find maybe something to do with your reputation, something to do with your customer service, or maybe defects in your products that you need to address. There is also them living due to uncertainties. COVID made people lose jobs. COVID made people die. You know, you can't fix that. COVID made it destabilized. So you have to have a very nice strategy that cares to uncertainty such that you have revenue. Then there is one important element by the that is usually people think is easy to do. I'll drop price. Price is the only element in marketing that brings money back to a company. Everything marketing does
takes money out. Yes.
Advertising, branding, distribution, training people, strategic partnership. Price is the only thing that brings back your profit. So if you simply lower your price without having a clear thinking of the implication, you may actually end up in losses. So you need to do that. Now, bringing it home, how do you measure a good strategy? And we have, you mentioned, an SME and a corporate.
Yes.
The strategy, first of all, depends on the context. An SME is someone who has typically begun small scale and wants to scale up. So the effectiveness of their strategy, you mentioned, have they grown? Have they improved in their growth? Are they expanding? Profit for an SME is important because the amount used to spend is usually short term. If they don't even have cash flows for even 2-3 months, you're out. You're out. So the effectiveness for them, one is, have they maintained quality is important, service delivery, as well as profit and growth. Now, come to a large organization. This is an organization that has established itself. It is directly even influencing the GDP of an organization. They are always in the news. They impact regulation as well. At that point, there are 4 key things that we measure. One is the financials.
Yeah.
Have you made a profit? Have the shareholders received their earnings? You
Yeah.
know? Have we grown? Is the profitability ratio relationship good?
Yeah.
Then the second one is customer.
Yeah.
Not only have you acquired customers, did you acquire, did you retain, did you bring back?
Yeah.
But what is their level of satisfaction? What is their level of net promoter score for you? Are they happy? You know, you may say, I have many customers.
But they are unhappy with you.
Thank you very much. Customers. Then the third thing is processes. You know, coordinating with supply chain, coordinating with HR, coordinating with all these elements, your suppliers, your distributors, and all processes.
Yeah.
Because we live in an age where customers are very impatient.
Yeah.
And switching is very, very, very quick. So did we improve our processes? Maybe using technology, digitizing things, automating things, improving turnaround time. All in the plan to deliver value to the customer. But the fourth one, which is very important, normally it's written number 4, but I think is the most important one.
Yeah.
And it ties to what we discussed on strategic thinking. They call it the knowledge and learnings.
Yeah.
What have you learned within that period?
Yeah.
What have you learned from the failures
Yes.
during the execution of that strategy for that year or 3 years? What are the key learnings? Because these guide one to reconcile what you thought would work for you.
Yeah.
And if it does work, it validates.
Your approach and your thought.
Yes.
Yes.
Then what you thought was obvious would work, but actually didn't. It failed, you know? And what are the new things? Because those who love strategy stimulates them to what's next.
Yeah.
What could I do best? And it's a continuous learning process. And then the cycle will begin again for the new cycle, formulation, planning, execution, and all.
Yeah.
And all.
All right, that's beautiful.
I feel like
This was a crash course on strategy, which was a crash course on strategy, and I think we need to bring you back to discuss this deeper because this strategy conversation cannot just happen in this short span.
It's so wide.
Yeah.
It's so wide. It's so engaging, complex. Every other day you see one thought process. For example, now we have CEOs as PR managers. Elon Musk. That's
Yes.
a new strategy where the boss talks.
Yes.
Gone are the days the MD is quiet. It's the PR manager. You have Bill Gates had his own way, and there's always something new coming up. You know that captivates. So it's always wide. It's changing, and you have to keep up. You have to keep learning more.
Okay, that's good. So if the content that you received here works for you, if it makes sense to you, you have an opportunity of joining a larger community where we have discussions like this. So in the description, you're going to find a link to our newsletter that comes out every month. Okay? It's well curated, it's well put together, it's well researched. We have information like what Simon just gave us for you to keep on hand, for you to share with any other person in your life. So in the description, after you have subscribed if you haven't. All right? So until the next one, you guys be good. All right.
yeah.
This one was heavy. Woo! That was a sweet one. This was a sweet one.
Unpacking. But halfway the zip,
Halfway.
The camera even.
Even the camera shook. It's like, hey, what is this?
Saturdays.